Now in this tutorial, we are going to complete what we started in the first one. As you recall, our client is a web browser, and as I said, I'm going to be using Chrome for this tutorial. This is our web server, and our server, as you recall, is Apache Tomcat. Now, these are our 5 components. This is a 3-tier application made of 5 components. This is the first component. This is the second one. So the first one is the client, is a browser. Second one is the server. In our case, it's Apache Tomcat. Apache Tomcat. This is our database. In our case, it's MySQL. And that's the third component. So that's the first, second, third. The application, which is in our case is a servlet. We are going to use the servlet technology. So this will be the fourth component. You can also have JSPs, JSF, EGBs, etc. But we are concerned with servlet in this course. And finally, inside the web browser, we have a form, web forms. So this will be our client side program, and this will be the 5th component. So this is, as we recall, this is a B2C, business to client application. It's a 3-tier application: client, server, database application, and it's called 3-tier. Now in this tutorial, we are going to see explore how the client communicates with the server using HTTP protocol, and we've already talked about HTTP protocol. So we start in the web browser and say we fill our form, and say we add a book title maybe, or an author, and after filling our form we click the submit button. And once we click the submit button, our web browser, this is the form here, the client program, it's embedded inside the HTML page. And the form, as you recall, is our 5th component of the 5 component in our model here, in our 3-tier application, which is made of 5 components. So the form, once we click submit, what the browser will do, it will bundle this message together, the request message, and this inside this message is going to include our field, our form fields that will go into this message. Now this web browser can be running on any of these gadgets, any of this electronic component, and once we click submit, this browser will bundle this into this request message. And then it is going to take this message and push it onto this layer. This layer here, this 7-layer model. This is a TCP/IP framework or protocol, I would say. And then it takes this request message, bundles it together as one message, pass it onto the operating system, from the application to presentation, session, transport, network, data link, and physical. Now, as far as we are concerned, is we are more concerned with what comes out from this, and what comes out are binary digits, zeros and ones, and these numbers represent electrical signals, plus and minus, and they are sent to our router via RJ45 or wireless to our router, and our router will pass this to our ISP provider. In turn, pushes it onto hubs, from one hub to another, through another hub until it reaches its destination. At destination, these packets are sent again through these 7 model layers. Then when they get to the server, which is a software application, then we'll process the request message, and then bundles together a response message and forward it back to us. Now this packet here, TCP IP guaranteed these packets will be delivered to their destinations. So when a request message is sent onto this 7-layer model, it's made of several of these packets here, and when they reach their destination and they go up again through the 7-layer models, they go through this 7 layers model again, and they are reassembled, and the final message passed to the application layer and to the HTTP server on arrival. Now let's explore how a message look like. Now if we look here, this is a request message, and you can see each message have a header, a blank line, and the body here. And you see in the body we have the fields that were in the forms. In this case, book ID. This is a separation between 2 fields and the author. So, and the fields are made in pairs, variable and value. So this is a variable and this is a value. And the black line is there to flag that the header is done, and what comes next is a body. Let's look at the response coming back from the server. This will be a response message, and you notice again it's the same thing. We have a header, and the header we have information that the browser need to read and to understand, and these are all plain English. This is all HTTP protocol. So this is a protocol, and please refer to the first video where we discussed protocol. And in the body, it will send us the resource we requested. So in this case, we've requested the home page, and the home page is sent back in the message in plain English. And once we receive the message, our browser knows how to get this message and display the information. So again, when we click submit here, the message is bundled together by the browser from our form or from our submit button, and this request message, which we just saw its content, is sent to Apache Tomcat here, or to our web server. This is Tomcat. Tomcat will take the message. Since it understands HTTP protocol, it will read the message, read the header, read the body, act upon the request. If we are requesting to persist data, it will go back to the backend and persist data to MySQL. Or if we are fetching data, we're requesting, say, a book. Say we are requesting a book here. Tomcat will fetch the book from MySQL, put the resources in the body of the HTTP response as we saw earlier, and pass it through the 7-layer model again, and pushes it onto the stream, and goes all the way back to the browser, to the client, and the client receives the response message, and the browser knows how to open this. Since it is HTTP compliant, it can understand HTTP, open the message, reads the header, reads the content, and renders everything back to the screen. So this is the header, and the header is very important because it has useful information for the server and the client in order to understand what's in the body of the message. And as you can see, for example, 200, this is flagging that everything is okay. The browser, the server is telling the client or the browser, look, everything is okay. Your request was handled, was well handled, and so there are all sorts of communication going between the browser and the client, and vice versa. Now, this course is not about HTTP. We are just having an overall look of HTTP. So when we proceed with our servlet, we can sort of understand what's going on. Again, here, this is how an HTTP message looks like. We have the header. You see with all these H. So we have a header. A blank line separates the header and the body, and that flags to the receiving end that what is next is the body, and the body is optional. You don't really have to have anything in the body. It's not mandatory to have something. This is a request message header. Again, you see they look alike. They are all HTTP. Again, the body is optional, and again there is a blank line, and always there is a request line. The first line is a request line, or that's a request. So let's look in here. You can see here. This is a request message, and that's a get operation, for instance. This can be a post. So this is the request message, as you can see. So that's how it looks, and that's the response here. And you can see here when you see that's a 2, and that's 200 okay, and this is what's this is some of the information needed by the browser to understand what's coming back from the server, and these are the resources sent in the body of the response. So let's go back to our diagram here, and now I hope this diagram now starts to make a bit of sense. Now I hope now you can see what's in the request message and how the request message is going to the server and how it's coming back from the server, and all is triggered by the client and its resources are going from and between from the client to the server and vice versa. Now resources can be many things. Resources are what the server sends back to us. We request, for example, music, or maybe images, maybe another HTML page, or maybe data from the database. Data. It could be files such as PDF, or maybe Word document, etc. This concludes this video. So bye for now, and please join me on the next one.